Hello, how are you? Hi, I hope you missed me personally. I also missed you so much. Like, I really was waiting for this time. I don't know why I usually miss this show. It's because it's always great to have a show like this in Women's View. And I am so glad that we always share it with you. Thank you so much for the comments and your support, by the way. You have been very supportive to our shows. Every time you're here, you always comment, you give a concern, and if you want someone on board, you have always given us something to do or someone to come on board. Thank you so much. And today I'm here, it's Shiro Wangige, your girl again, and I'm very excited that we are going to pick up on a very important, topic. Every time Shiro Wangige brings important, interesting, and the most entertaining topics on board. It is Women's View. Stay tuned until the end, because I know at the end of the show, most of the people will be coming asking for more information, and that is why we are here. And in this world as women, we always ask ourselves, what is our right? Because many times we go at work, in church, in the society, in government, even in our marriages. And sometimes we also come up across very important issues or rather situations in our families or everywhere we are, and we ask ourselves as ladies, what is our rights? How can the government, how can the law protect us? And that is why we are here today, because on board I have an advocate who is going to talk about the rights of women in the society. We're going to touch about a lot, and I know it is a discussion you want to sit down and listen for your sake, for the sake of your friends, your relatives, or even the society at large, because it's something that we need to know, the rights of us as women, especially people who come across GBV, gender-based violence, and also people who are going through divorce. What is our right as women? Who is in charge of helping women to know what they can do with themselves? And that is why I want you to stay tuned and also keep up with this conversation. Our social media handle, we are GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Kindly text tuambie, what would you want to be talked about? When we talk about rights of a woman, what comes in your mind? Because that is what I want us to discuss with our advocate today. She's a very young and beautiful lady. And I like the way she brings out the notion of women and the rights of women, and especially wanting the women to learn more about themselves. She's a very enthusiastic lady, and I know you will love her. Personally, I love her even before she explains anything, because she's full of wisdom, and there's a lot we are going to catch from her, sir. Let me give her the opportunity of introducing herself. Welcome so much, Mary.
Thank you.
Kindly let the viewer learn and know wewe ni nani. Why are we having Mary on board?
Yes, my name is Mary Gathoni Kamau. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I work with Kioko and Gathoni Advocates. We are located at Jubilee Insurance House here in town. Yes, we are here to talk about women's rights. It is very important that we be aware of our rights. Knowledge is power.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
And thank you so much for coming. And I know that there's a lot I'm waiting to hear from you personally. And as I also hear from you, I want my viewer also to get the notion or the information that we as women, we need to know. Very many women don't know much about their rights. So when we talk about the rights first, before we even continue, what do we mean when we talk about the rights of a woman? What is that?
Yes, the rights is basically, a right is something you're entitled to. Yes, and whether you know it or not, it is a right. And for us, Kenya, we have the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, that forms the basis of what we'll be talking about. In it we have the Bill of Rights. We also have different laws in different sectors, like in issues of employment. We have laws there. We have laws on marriage. We have laws on almost every sphere. That entails what the rights of women are. And we'll be looking at those rights, some of those rights today.
Okay. Tukiongea kuhusu rights, let us start with our workplaces. You know, it is the first place I just want to touch, because women somehow complain a lot. Because there is a lot that goes behind. Do you know about some of the things that goes about in our workplaces?
Yes, yes, I do. Some of the issues I may say that women encounter at the workplaces is sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a very sensitive topic, and it is an issue that we need to empower women on, because you as a woman have a right to work in a place that is free from sexual harassment. Yes, and when we're talking of sexual harassment, if I may just define it, because I think it's subjective. This is unwanted conduct, or that you consider unwelcome, that is offensive to you as an individual victim. It may be a direct request for sexual intercourse by a co-worker or a superior. It may be a request for sexual contact or some other sexual activity. It may be words spoken to you, whether written or verbal, that are sexual in nature. Basically, it's what you find offensive and which you've spoken that it is totally unacceptable to you. That is sexual harassment. Yes, and what the laws provide is that in any work environment where there are more than 20 employees, the organization or the workplace should have a policy statement on sexual harassment. So that basically defines what sexual harassment in that space means. And also how complaints on sexual harassment are addressed. Yes, so there should be clear channels so that you know, if I am in this situation, where do I go? Who do I call? You know, and also there should be the statement should also include or make you aware that the process should be confidential. Yes, and that protects you as a person from victimization, and such that it's only the parties who are involved that are aware of the situation. Yeah, unless maybe there's investigations or maybe in the instant of disciplinary process for the perpetrator, maybe that's where the other people would know. Yeah, so there should be that aspect. Yes, so basically in any work environment, there should be a policy, or rather it should be out there on how complaints on sexual harassment are dealt with.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, so when we are talking about, you've really explained it so well. And when we are going, most of the people, when they have gone to a workplace, or rather gone to apply for a job, and then they have the policies behind, you know, when they're getting the job. And that part is there. Now, there is this part of, kuna boss wangu. Yeah, my boss ni yeye, kuna sasa there's a bit of misunderstanding, or rather there is, I have maybe nime sense or smell kuna sexual harassment, you know, him as the boss, kuna wacha awa wa chini. Sasa mimi nitaenda wapi? Kwa sababu one, siezi mwambia yeye, ni yeye anafanya kile kitendo, you know, he's the person who is sexually harassing me, or rather a relative to him, or a person he considers more special to him. So whom do I go to? You know, I feel that is even beyond the organization. Whom should I go to when I'm sexually harassed by a person I cannot, who is even in charge of everything? Yeah. Yes,
if you are aggrieved and feel that the system within the organization may not assist, of course there are other avenues, external avenues. Yes, and if I may say that even when the sexual harassment is of serious implication, like we're talking of rape, yeah, sexual assault, physical assault.
Yeah.
Yes, so I think there you have to report to external authorities, and by that I mean the police. Yes.
And will it be that expensive? Because also people fear, ukipeleka kitu, tuseme you go to police station, you're reporting, and also them, they are not, you know, they say, awa hawata nishughulikia, you know, the way I want. Because there's an instance of a friend I know, she had this job in an organization, and there came a time that her pay was increased by the boss with no reason. and just saying, I love the way you are, your competence and everything, you know. And then she was, it's okay because it's job. And then like 2-3 months later, the guy wanted, the boss now wanted a pay. Nilikufanyia hii favor, it is now your time to pay me back. And she could not. Paying back, it's now sexually. She could not. You know, I was imagining, because it was very hard for her, she doesn't want to quit. Why? Because already alikuwa amequit from the previous place. She has family and bills that need to be paid. This man needs her to, you know, get inside the whatever box he has. And now it's even hard because she was married and she doesn't want to do it. She was caught up in a mix. Who should I go to? How can I still stay and earn? Because I also don't want to go home, start searching for jobs like a person who've never been on unemployment. Yeah.
Yes, the first thing you said about the cost.
Yes.
Yes, I believe that reporting an incident, it's free of charge. You just need to present yourself to the nearest police station. Normally they record the incident in an occurrence book, and they have a duty. They are duty bound to investigate the incident and to arraign the person in court for charges. Yes, and on the second issue, where you feel that you may not get assisted in the organization, and probably, because in most cases I see that maybe the work environment becomes very hostile.
Yes, yes.
And the person has to probably resign, not voluntarily,
Yes.
but because the environment is totally hostile. Then you have a recourse in court, because as I've said, the right to work in an environment that is free from sexual harassment is a right that is embodied in the Employment Act.
Wow.
Yes. That means you can go to court. Yes, you can go to court, you can approach court and present your case and actually get damages and compensation because that is what we call constructive dismissal. Yes, where you resign and you quit because the environment is hostile. Yes, so that is allowed by law. Yeah, the person can resign and go to court and say, you know, I resign not because I wanted, but because I cannot work in this environment for this and this reason. Yes, okay. So there are avenues in law in which you can seek redress. Yeah.
Yeah, and obvious, if we are talking about workplace, it's also like in church, because nowadays even people are employed in church, and it becomes their workplace. And like we had seen last time with the news about the lady who was to, you know, there is a lot that happened around. And also, I would also want you to talk about the rights of women in marriage, you know. We've talked about workplace, and I relate workplace with even the government. Now let's come to marriage. What is the right of a woman in marriage, especially nowadays, you know, marriages are very hard for some people. And when they divorce, or rather most women are tied up to their marriages, not because they want, but because they fear on, I don't know, I'm not sure whether when I move out, will I have the kids? Will I still have my property? Let's talk about the rights of a woman in the family.
Yes, first to begin with, I have to say that at the point of entry of marriage, it is important that women know that they have equal rights at the time of entry of marriage, during the marriage, and at the point of dissolution of marriage.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, you are equal partners. Because what is marriage? Marriage is a union between a man and a woman, as per the laws of Kenya. Of course, with the consent of both parties. So ideally, if there is no consent of one party, we have no marriage.
We have no marriage.
Yeah. So you have equal rights because you give your consent, I give my consent, and we get married. Yes. So women, it's very important that we know that we have equal rights with our men, and that also translates to the issue of children, as you say.
I also have equal right. The way my husband has equal right to my kids, I also do.
Yes.
And are you also talking about working? Because some men don't want their ladies working.
I think that is subjective on whether you work or not, but it is important to understand when okay, there are two issues that may arise from a marriage. One is the issue of property and two children. So you have equal responsibility and you have equal rights as pertains your children.
Yeah.
Yes, and then even as I've said, during the marriage and also at the point of dissolution of the marriage.
Yeah.
So if the marriage doesn't work out and we are at the point of divorce, you still have equal rights and equal responsibilities. And normally if you're unable to agree on how the needs of the children will be taken care of, you can approach a court of law. I've done many of those cases, children matters. Yes, so and when you talk about children, two aspects come in. The issue of custody, because I'm sure by the time you're divorcing, you're no longer staying in the same house. Yes, so there is the issue of actual custody, or rather physical custody. That is, in many words, to mean who stays with the kids.
Good. Before you even continue, there's this thing, this question I really want to ask. Most of the time when people divorce, it's the woman who leaves the house, you know. I feel, I just want to ask, is it okay for the man to leave the house for me? Because it's a house maybe yenye tulijenga pamoja, si ndio? Why am I the only person who is easy to go? And you know, most of the time women live with their kids. I'm not supporting them living with their kids, you know, wanaenda na watoto wao, but I'm just saying in the instance where the court has allowed the lady to possess the kids for a while. Do we have a law that can let me as a woman still stay in that house and let the man leave the house?
Yes, that goes to the particular circumstances of the case, but ideally, if as the lady you're the one who's staying with the kids, there is what we call the main principle that determines the issues of children in Kenya is the best interest of the child. What is the best interest of the child? If the parties have divorced, they have gone their separate ways, where should these kids stay?
Yeah.
Yes. So the court will be looking at the fact that these kids need a stable environment. They're used to staying in this house.
Yes.
Let's say it's a home that you two have built.
Yeah.
They're used to staying in this home. So it is in the best interest of the children that they continue to stay in the home.
Okay.
Yes. And if the mother has custody, that means she's staying with the kids at the matrimonial home.
Mwanaume.
Yes, yes. Okay. But now the issue of property is also a diverse one. Yes, because at the point of dissolution of marriage, ideally it means you have to share or distribute the property that was acquired during the marriage. Yes, the law talks of matrimonial property. Matrimonial property means property that was acquired during the subsistence of the marriage.
Okay.
That is considered that it belongs to both of you. That when you acquired this property while you were married, you actually, though the title reads your name, but actually it's in trust for me.
Okay. Okay, I wanted also to ask about that. As a woman, am I entitled to buying something, a property during marriage that my husband does not have to question and say, hii ni yangu? Okay, as much as ni yako. I don't know why am I saying it. Yeah.
Actually, you cannot buy property during the subsistence of marriage and claim that it is yours solely, unless you had a prenatal arrangement. You had an arrangement before marriage that any property we acquire during this period we are together, we are married. If I acquire, it's mine. If you acquire, it's yours. There's such arrangements.
Okay.
Unless there's that, then the presumption is any property that one spouse acquires during marriage,
it's ours.
It's ours. Because at the point of dissolution, let's say, for instance, the woman did not contribute money-wise. You are home, you are taking care of the children, you are giving this man companionship, you are doing domestic work, managing the home, probably managing some business you have. At the point of dissolution of marriage, the court is not only looking at your monetary contribution, the court is also looking at what you contributed that not money wise, non-monetary contribution.
Okay.
So based on that, even though at the point of dissolution the man may come and say, I bought this land alone, the court will be like, no. This, she was taking care of your kids.
While you are going to negotiate.
Yes,
that is very
she
nice.
was giving you companionship.
Wow.
She was taking care of your house. Yes.
So this thing of women wanaacha mali yao nyuma waache.
Yes.
There is a law that can help them acquire what they have, they feel they are entitled to.
Yes.
You don't have lazima uko ulipeana pesa in cash.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. As long as this property was acquired during the subsistence of your marriage, you have a contribution, even if not money-wise.
Wow.
Yes.
Mary, that is very nice. When we come back, I would want us to talk about what do I qualify to possess when it comes to divorce, because many people start fighting. I want the kids, you know, in between wanaanza kushare. This kid ochukua hivo, and we don't want that separation of our kids, you know. Who is entitled and what qualifies a person to have full custody of the kids? So let us take a very short break, and then when we come back, we pick on that. Thank you.
Everywhere, GBS.
Thank you. Welcome back. We are from that short break, and we are here still continuing with this conversation with our guest, Mary, who is an advocate. Today we are talking about the rights of women in the society, and in particular, we were talking about who is supposed to possess the kids, who qualifies to possess the kids in case of divorce. And that is how our conversation is running. It is very interesting, actually, very educative, because we are getting informed about what really we need to know as women. Also, we need to know what are the rights of men in between uko ndani. So keep this conversation running. Our social media handle, we are GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So Mary, before we went for that short break, I really wanted you were talking about kids possession. We want to know, what do I qualify to possess the kids?
Yes, I have to say that both parties, the man and the lady, you have equal rights to participate in the lives of the children. But now that maybe there's a divorce situation and parties are no longer living together, then the court has to make orders as to regards the custody, where the children or where the child will be living. And the welfare of the children, we're talking of education, medical, clothing, basically the needs of a child.
Yeah.
Yes. So the first thing is where the child is young, that is less than 10 years. So the law provides that unless there are compelling reasons, the mother normally has actual custody. Actually means the mother gets to live with the child. Yes, this is on the notion that, yes, a mother is well suited to take care of a young child as opposed to a male person. But of course, that is, it is not absolute. There are instances where fathers have been given custody, especially where the mother is totally irresponsible. Yeah, so if you're able to show court that the mother is irresponsible, probably drinks, doesn't take care of the child, doesn't, you know, So in that instant, the court will grant custody to the father. But the general rule is that the child of 10 years and below goes with the mother. And then there is what we call legal custody. Legal custody basically means making decision as regards the welfare of the child. Where does the child go to school? Who pays school fees? Medical cover, shelter, clothing, all decisions regarding the welfare of the child. Normally, the court will give joint legal custody to the father and mother, because ideally that is participating in the child's life. Yes. Yes. And once the court gives actual custody to one party, let's say the mother, then automatically the other party is entitled to access or rather visitation, what we call visitation. Yes. Yeah. So parties can agree and so that the other spouse, because they're not staying with the kid, they're able to visit and be with the child.
And sometimes even ask the children to come over and stay for a while.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Because there are some women who even, they divorce, the kids are 10 years, they go and even change their names. you know.
Yeah.
And they don't want the father even next to their children. So it's very wrong.
Yes, it is very wrong because at the end of the day, we should be able to separate personal issues, or rather, if the marriage doesn't work, you know, this person is still the child.
Father.
Yes, is still the father. This child has a right to identity. He has a right to know the father. Yes, so I think that is very important, and that's why even the laws have been changing, because even previously there was the issue that you couldn't that for the name of the father to be indicated on the birth certificate. Yes, you had to.
But nowadays they're very strict.
The law then was that there had to be a joint request by the father and by the mother. Yes, so that the law was avoiding a situation whereby it was said that some women are taking advantage of the position and go register men. So men appear on so many birth certificates and they don't know. Yeah.
So that's a father to around 10 kids that you don't even know.
Yes, but the court said that even if there is no joint request between by the parties, this child has a right to have the father's name on the birth certificate.
Oh, that is very, because some birth certificates za kitambo ikifika hapo kwa father's name.
Yes.
We had those very many exes to
yes.
Paka karibu na wao watu sijui walikuwa wanaeka aje. Paka karibu ianze kukuja the other side, you know. Imekuja from hapa XXXX. Yani it just wants you to feel that you don't have a father.
Yes.
I'm also glad with today that you have to say the name of the father, and not your father in that case.
Yes, the father of the child.
Yes.
But of course, it's also a choice. Yeah. If you want to.
All right. Now, having said that all, I would also want us to talk about the case where a husband has left or a wife has left, and then there is the possession of properties, where family, you know, the extended family usually come in and want to grab what their kids had, you know, without even having their to consider the kids they had together. Yeah.
Yes. That is at the point of dissolution of marriage?
No, when the husband has died, or one party anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So we have legislation and laws that govern succession matters, inheritance matters. Yes. So when a person dies, there's who the law provides is entitled to inherit. There's even a hierarchy. Yes. Of course, the spouse being the first person, and then we have the children, and then parents, and then brothers. Yeah, the list goes on and on.
Do you want to mean that mothers and brothers, you know, are entitled to the property that I own?
Yes, they are. If you didn't have a spouse, you didn't have children,
but
you
I
don't have
children.
Parents. Yes, if you have children, then there is no way it goes. There's the level of hierarchy is in the event that the one party is not there.
Yeah.
So if the spouse is not there, the property directly comes to the children.
Yeah.
If you had no spouse and children, it goes to the parents. Yes. If there are no spouse, there's no spouse, no children,
there's that
no
hierarchy.
parents, it goes to the brothers and sisters. Yes.
But most of the cases in Kenya are, my husband died and now the parents are coming to claim the land that we bought somewhere, probably at Ushago, or rather the home or the house that we built and I'm staying with their own grandchildren. And they start, hii ni yetu, unajua kiwot, inaitwa aje kiutamaduni, we do this and this.
Yes. The law of inheritance has really evolved. Yes, and I think the first thing that this lady needs to do, if you find yourself in that position, is to assert your right through court. Yes, definitely where a person dies, you have to conduct what you call succession proceedings, where you approach a court of law and you make such declarations as his name when he died, and this is what he had in terms of property, and who are the beneficiaries.
Okay.
Yes.
So the law has covered that woman or that man.
Yes.
You have the right to go face the court where you feel this is not right.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, yes, yes. Even in situations, even when you've agreed as a family, it is important to get to conduct succession proceedings, because that's how the documentation, let's say the person had land, title, maybe shares and everything. Yeah, that's how the names change from the name of a deceased person to now your name.
Now,
Yeah.
there's a lady here who is very concerned, and I feel we need to tackle this because it might go cut across every person. Mary, kindly tell her to talk about the issue of the main lady and the side chick. Am I supposed to give some of my property to the side chick when my husband dies, just because they have kids, or rather they come up with their story that they were wives, she was the wife? So how am I supposed to deal with that? I think in simple terms, because there are some mistakes, I think she's talking about the protection of a wife from other women, other women or side chicks. Some come after the husband has died, they claim, tunataka pesa, niko na mtoto wake. You don't even know hata huyu ni mtoto wake ama nini. You've never even heard huyo msichana ama suspected that your husband alikuwa na familia ingine. They come and they want to get mukatana hivi katikati. Ile pesa tumetafuta na my husband for about 20 years. So is there a law that can protect a wife?
Yes, the law is there. Because as I said earlier, a wife is entitled to inherit. Actually, she's the first person on this hierarchy. A wife or wives, because of the fact that we have to acknowledge that customary law, yes,
polygamy,
yes, allows polygamy. So a person might have had wives, yes, but of course you have to prove that you are a wife. So the person coming and saying that I was his wife, yes, so you have to demonstrate that you are a wife. Under what system of marriage were you married to the deceased person?
Yes.
Yes. Was it Christian? Because Christian allows only one wife. It's monogamous.
Yeah.
Civil, it's monogamous. So unless maybe the person is coming and saying that they were married under customary law, in which event they have to prove that they were married under customary law, then they will be entitled to inherit. That is the first call. And also the lady says that probably the side chick says she has kids. Yeah, so when it comes to kids, the situation is a bit different, but where the paternity is contested, where the legitimate, let's say the known wife, does not outrightly recognize that these are children of the deceased, then a paternity test can be done.
Yeah.
Yes, to
a
prove,
DNA.
Yes, a DNA can be done to prove
that they are his kids.
Yes, that they are his kids. Yes, but maybe sometimes they are known by the wife. So sometimes it's not a contest. And where they are recognized by the wife and the estate does not have an issue, then the kids are entitled to inherit. So the law says that all the children of the deceased, they are entitled to an equal share.
Wow. Okay.
From the estate. So whatever the child of the
wife
legitimate,
had,
yes, is exactly what the other child will have.
What about the wife?
So the wife has to prove she's a wife. Yes, she has to prove that she is a wife. Yes.
But if she, maybe the main lady did not know or have any knowledge of her, she can maybe take care of the kids with the sharing and leave out the lady.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that is very nice.
Yeah.
What about this person? We've been together for, let's say 15 years, and the man feels they want to have another family. Then they have another family, and now the man wants me to share what we had. There is mpaka hapa, umepata yule msichana tukiwa na hii mali. This is my investment, this is our land, How am I supposed to share? And then the man comes says, ile shamba ya Eldoret ni ya ule bibi mwingine. What am I supposed to do? Are we supposed to katane watu watatu ama what are we supposed to do?
No. What happens, as I said, matrimonial property is that acquired during the subsistence of the marriage.
Yes.
So let's say you've been married from 0 years to 15 years. So whatever property that was acquired during this period is the property of both of you. So let's say from year 15 to 20, he gets married to this other lady.
Yeah.
And there's property acquired during the 15 to 20 years. Now that property, let's presume he's still married to you.
Yes.
Now this property acquired during the 15 to 20 years now belongs to the three of you. But this wife that has been married later cannot claim a share of property that was acquired
when she was not there. If you are not in the picture,
Yes.
by the way. Thank you so much, Mary. There's just a lot to talk about because I feel there's so much we need to know also about the rights about a woman. Thank you so much, Mary, for that information. You know, it's very important and I feel the magnitude of it because you have given us so much information that personally I didn't know about. But I really also want us to talk about unajua kuna ile inakuaga tumenunua shamba. My husband ndiye ameandikwa. Shamba ya Limuru, my husband. Shamba ya Mwea, my husband. Shamba ya Nakuru, my husband. So when it comes to that part, I also want to know whether I have the right, you know, to have some of the possession under my name. Kama tumenunua gari, my name, kesho tukinunua pikipiki, jina yake. Can we share? So let us take a short break. We come back and you tell us how we can also distribute our names, you know, the right of our names, having them on these possessions. I think it's important. So let us take a short break. We come back and then as we wind up, then we know, we learn. Ama pia wewe, it's important for you to have your name entitled to ile shamba mlinunua juzi. So let us take a short break and then we'll be back. Thank you.
Everywhere, GBS.
Thank you for staying tuned. I really love your comments and the concerns that you're bringing on. Like, for example, there is a person who is talking about gender-based violence because I don't know why we had forgotten that a bit, but still we need to talk about the rights of a woman when it comes to gender-based violence. Kwa sababu very many women suffer, and even before we know it, inakuwa imeblow. Kuna death, kuna mtu amechapwa mpaka hata amekuwa haezi jifanyia kazi. Do we have rights that kwa sababu saa zingine naonaga tu ni kama kuna arrogance. Wanaume wanachapa wanawake, you know, beyond. Na anatembea tu kwa society ni kama mtu tu alienda mahali akakunywa pombe akakuja, you know. Do we have the rights of gender-based violence? And as we've come back, we really want also to tackle that. But before we tuguzia hiyo ya gender-based violence, because it's a question that most people wameuliza hapa. Kwanza tuambie, am I entitled to have my name, you know, distribution of names, especially mine, zikuwe kwa those properties?
Yes, you are entitled to maybe you can decide we acquire this property, let's have it registered under your name, we acquire the other one, let it be in my name. But remember, the test is not in whose name the title is. The test is when was this property acquired? Because if it was acquired during your marriage, even
Definitely.
if it is registered in his name,
It's yours.
It is yours. Yes.
Yours,
it is
like
yours.
as in both.
Yes, yes. The presumption is that you hold it in trust for the other spouse. Yeah. So, but normally at the point of dissolution, of course, you have to prove something called contribution, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah, we did.
It may be money-wise, because maybe you contributed money towards the purchase of the property, or you did a non-monetary contribution, what we talked about, companionship and all that, childcare. Yes. So that is actually the test. So it doesn't
watu
really
waacha
matter.
kungangania. You know, women anashinda, anaweza amua hii wiki ni kukasirika. From Monday to Monday.
Yes.
Haujawahi niandikisha, hata ile ploti ulinunua mahali, wanakosana just because of a name. We should not bother.
Yes, but I think if you're in that situation, if you can have documents registered in your joint names, even the better.
But you know, if it doesn't matter whose name it
Yes,
is.
but it doesn't matter in whose name it is.
Yes, I think we should relax,
Yes.
because many women fight that battle, because you know, African men, they want everything to be under their names, and
Yes.
before a woman even anakuja kusema I want also, inaanza kukua ni kama kupigana. So at least women now, you can relax. It's not about the who mwenye ako kwa hiyo ploti, it is tulia kwa ya lini.
Yes, yes.
That is
but
very nice.
If I have to insist on the issue of joint registration, sometimes it comes in handy because you'll find a crafty one and they will want to sell it. Yes, normally at the point of selling, they're required to give spousal consent. You as the spouse giving consent to the sale of the property.
Okay,
yeah?
okay.
Yes, so you find that there is a lot of, he may use, he may go and lie, maybe he doesn't have a wife, or probably present someone else, you know. Yeah, so we've had such situations where women find themselves in at a point where the man has already disposed of the property. But of course, that can always be challenged in court, because if you've not given your spousal consent, then he cannot dispose of.
There's
that
a question
property.
I want to ask, and because we are looking at time, it's a bit very short, and we are almost coming to the end of this show. There are women who usually wana learn kwamba their husbands wanafanya wedding sahi. Anaweka mtoto kwa mgongo, mbio, and you know the chaos that come around. Anaenda you know, and anafukuzwa vitu kama hizo. What is her right? Because anakuja anasema, I have kids with this man. Aliniwacha akaenda, anaoa tena. What, mimi ninataka support hawa watoto. You know, there are those men, wenye wanaachana tu na mama huko nyumbani, and they just go and they want to start a new life, mpaka wanaenda. You know, some are even legally married. Wako na hiyo certificate. How comes mpaka wanaenda wanapata another way of kuoa? You know, I thought it is one man, one wife, you know. So does that woman have some rights zenye anaweza jiprotect and the kids?
Yes, ideally in a process before people get married, there's usually a time, if it's a civil marriage, I think there is a 21 notice that is put out, so that if you have any objection to the marriage, you raise it with the registrar. For church, for Christian, I think they announce in church,
yeah.
Nani flani is getting married, yeah. So if you have an objection, you approach the leadership of the church and yeah, so ideally that is the avenue for raising protest. Yeah, but now if maybe you
imefanywa chini ya maji.
Imefanywa chini ya maji.
Nobody knows. Ama anakuja kula, unajua bwana yako ni bibi harusi kwa ile kanisa.
Yes.
Yeah, such kind of a thing. Hakuna mtu anajua, ilifanywa tu quietly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So you know, ideally if you are formally married, he has no capacity to marry another woman. Yeah, so basically what he's done is a nullity before the law. Because if a Christian, if maybe you've done a church wedding,
Yes.
you've done under the Christian law, so it provides that the marriage should be monogamous, one wife, one man. Yes. So if he comes again and marries under any other system, maybe traditional or maybe in church,
Yeah.
ideally he has no capacity.
Wow.
Yes. So that is not a marriage. Yes. The second ceremony is not a marriage.
Alafu kuna hawa wakamuiste. Tunakaa muiste mpaka tunakuwa old. Hakuna certificate inasema I am the wife, I am the husband. Only people knows and you know friends and we have kids. In such case, alafu kuarise utwa to issues. Ni nini huwa inafanyika? How does the law protect that woman? Ama pia anaambiwa tu we don't know you.
Yeah, I think for kamuiste marriages or cohabitation, it's a bit problematic, and that's why people are encouraged to formalize one way or the other. Yeah, but when it comes to really that place, maybe you are pursuing property or something, or maybe the person is deceased, obviously you can come to court and you have to demonstrate yeah, that you've actually been cohabiting, because now there is what has been there called the presumption of marriage, where you're saying we've cohabited for a long time.
Yes.
You know, we have kids, our neighbors, church, people know that we are married. We've been holding out as a couple.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so that is subject to proof, but it is not easy. Yes,
Yeah, I
so
can
yeah,
understand.
it is not easy. So it is better when you have formalized the
So watu wa
relationship.
formalize.
Yes,
Wapush huyo mtu, let us go formalize. Hata
Yeah.
kama sio wedding, we just go and do the easy way.
Yes.
I am your wife, I am your husband.
yes.
Wow, that's very nice.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So for the civil marriages, they are a bit straightforward and
Yeah,
all
they
that.
are.
Yeah. Not a lot of resources. Yeah.
So let's talk about gender-based violence, darling, because that's something we need to talk about. And when I touch it, I feel it's a topic, a very big topic. But now that we are talking about the rights of a woman, I want you to talk about it in GBV.
Yeah. It's a problem. Yeah, especially now with the, I think from the time we were hit with COVID, and I think most people are indoors, it's really, the cases of GBV have really increased. Yeah, and so has divorces,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. And gender-based violence, I have seen that it has been classified as there is violence against women, girls, and all that. There is intimate partner violence. But I think the bottom line is that it is violence directed towards women. Yes, and I feel that is something that we need to speak out on. Yes.
It's a fight, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we need to fight against it because it's all over and it
Yes.
scares everyone.
Yes, yes, yes. To begin with, the Constitution of Kenya outlaws such kind of behavior. We have freedom and security of person. Yeah, you have a right not to face violence, whether emotional.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's
physical.
emotional and
Yeah.
physical and psychological.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have a right of security of person. So it is actually a constitutional right. Yes. And one thing I have noted is that sometimes we condone it, especially the intimate partner violence. You hit today, you know. Yeah, I've had instances and even divorce cases where the lady has even been in hospital, beaten up and all that. But after some time, she goes back.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think it's something that we need not condone. Yes.
Or rather even deal with it as a person. You know?
Yes.
Imefika hiyo maneno ya it's person.
Yes.
You have to draw a line.
Yes. Yeah, you have to draw a line.
As much as the law is there to help you curb it or rather protect you against it, but it's also a decision because like that person, umechapo, umefanywa nini, and then you're going back. The law is...
Yes, yes. So once it happens or the other person is physically abusive, it is very important after, of course, you go to a hospital, you get medical attention, and you need to report to the police.
Okay.
Yes, so that investigations are done and this person is arraigned in court.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's a person who is saying, sometimes we get so much violence. How can you advise on how I can... okay, sawa. There is also sexual harassment in marriage, and I don't know about the law. I also would want to know. The one that sijamalizia hiyo tutamalizia baadaye. But there's a person who is saying there is sexual harassment inside marriage. Do we have a right? I don't know what she means, but just say yes or no.
You know, we have what we call conjugal rights.
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually a thing in the laws. Yes, but of
It's
course,
not
yes,
forceful.
But, yeah, it should not be forceful because every sexual encounter or activity, even in marriage, should be consensual. Yes, because there's such a thing as rape. Yes.
Okay. Mary, you've talked a lot in law, and I have really loved the topic. But now we have come to the end of it all. Before we finish, we have a game that we have to play. But before we go to this game, because I want Mary to, you know, our games. We want Mary to participate in this game. You answer within 3 seconds. But before that, give the last concern about yourself, or about the whole thing, the rights of a woman, within 30 seconds.
Yes, as women, it is very important to know our rights. Knowledge is power. Let us not, times have changed. Yeah, so it is time that we spoke up, we spoke up, we stood for our rights, because if we are not going to defend ourselves, no one will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the game. we are here. I'm excited because I want to see and to know her more, you know. We ask her some personal things, but anyway, you are entitled to saying pass. But we really would want to also know, if you are not working as an advocate, what else would you be doing?
I would, okay, I think, farming.
Farming?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love farming.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so the distance from here to Dubai, traveling, sorry, not Dubai. Where am I going? Maybe I'm thinking about Dubai. So the distance from here to Eldoret is 10 hours when you're driving. What is the fastest way of reaching for Eldoret, you know? What is the easiest, or rather even Kisumu, because they are very near? When I drive, I take 10 hours, but I want to have it the fastest way, you know? What is the fastest way of traveling from Nairobi to, let's say, Kisumu?
Okay,
Yeah.
by flight?
By flight.
Yeah.
That's your answer. By flight. It's the fastest.
The fastest?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the last answer.
I feel it's
Viewer,
like
what do you think?
It's a tricky question.
No, it's not. From Nairobi to Kisumu, it's 10 hours when I'm driving. I want to, the fastest way of traveling from Nairobi to Kisumu. Your answer, the last answer.
Yes.
On flight. What do you think, viewer? Is it on flight? I don't know. I'll answer you. I'll answer you after you've answered the others. You're going out for a vacation. What are the 3 most important things that you carry?
Of course, personal effects. Yeah, depending on the location and all that. Yes. For me, books. Yeah, to read. Yeah, and yeah, and myself.
You
have to carry myself.
You have to carry yourself.
I have to carry
there.
myself.
Yeah.
There.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that is very nice.
Yeah.
What is the nickname? Your nickname at work?
Do I have any? No, I'm just Gadoni.
It's Gadoni.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so professional. Tell us your husband's nickname. How do you nickname him? Ajue hapa. Leo tunajua. Yeah.
So I just call him baby.
That's his nickname. Anywhere. You call him anywhere, baby.
Of course not, of course not. But he's Joseph, so most of the time it's either baby or Joe. Or Jose.
Okay, mkienda kwao unamwitaje?
Of course, Jose.
Hakuna babe. Kwa nini?
You know, African society and all that.
Hey, Joseph.
Hey,
like,
beautiful.
come here. Okay, so that's very nice. So the easiest way of traveling from Nairobi to Kisumu, the fastest, sorry, is traveling with someone you love. Wow. You know, if you're traveling with someone you love, definitely you would not even want to reach Kisumu. It will be, 10 hours will be like 2 minutes. Travel with the person you love them, and you know you love their company, you love everything. I'm telling you, it will not even be enough. You would even want to start, you know, let's go back to Nairobi and start it over. So the fastest way of moving or traveling, those very far places that you feel zinakuchokesha, travel with the person you love. You will see. I hope you've learned something. Thank you so much, Mary. I have enjoyed the show, and thank you so much, viewer, for the comments, for the concern. I have them all. It's because of time, but one day I think we need to have a show where we now come up with those comments, and then we read them, and then people will know. So I'm very glad that you have shared this moment with us, and we have really been blessed to have Mary here with us, and she has really informed us a lot. I don't want to take so much of whatever she has said or even more time. I just want to say thank you so much for staying tuned, the comments and everything. If you still have something you want us to hear or to know, just keep it on our social media. Remember, it's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line still is 21144. Thank you so much. Stay safe. Until next time. Bye bye.